Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. It's RB Leipzig versus Tottenham in the Champions League second leg live match chat. And RB Leipzig are leading 1-0 as we know. Can Spurs do what many would say is mission impossible? And to be honest, I'm going to say is mission impossible as well. I don't think they can do it tonight. I really don't. I think Leipzig are a good side, and I think Spurs at the moment are a side that look like they could lose to anybody. We'll go through the team news in a moment for you, but for anybody who is joining in tonight, really looking forward to it. Obviously the game will be on, we'll be chatting about that. We'll also be chatting about other things as well. I know a lot of people are very interested in debating what's going to happen with the rest of the Premier League season. Will we see a rest of a Premier League season or a Champions League? We'll be discussing all that as well. Tyrone Film says Leipzig are winning this. I think so as well. I do. I just can't see how Spurs get back into this. I think there is an element of bad luck with Spurs now as well. I mean, you let Eriksen go, you bring Bergwijn in who's an attacker, Kane gets injured, Son gets injured. They're missing Bergwijn, Kane and Son. It's like Manchester United missing Martial, Greenwood and Rashford. It is. And, you've got Dan James and Igalo, who probably do a good job, to be fair, but Spurs don't even have that depth. So it is big. And look, I'm not saying that Mane, Salah and Firmino are as good. I mean, they're better, obviously. They're playing in a side that's Champions League winners and title going to be winners as well. But imagine Liverpool without those three as well. It's a big blow. I've got to admit, for Mourinho, it is a big blow. But Spurs line up with Lloris in goal, Alderweireld, Eric Dyer, Tanganga, Aurier. That'll be their back four. So he's playing Dyer at the back again, which I think isn't a great decision. Vinks, Lo Celso, Sessegnon and Lamela with Lucas Moura and Ali. Quite an attacking side from him. And it's interesting that Sessegnon plays, Lamela, Lucas Moura as well. So obviously trying to get a bit of an attack into his team. Doesn't have massive options off the bench. Fernandes is on the bench. Parrott, Skip, Ndombele, Gazaniga, Vertonghen and Fagan Walcott. And RB Leipzig, look, I'm not going to go... we'll go through the team as well. Galacci, Kolosterman, Upamecano comes back into the team. Halstenberg, Mikel, Sabitzer, Lemar, Angelino, Nkunku, Schick and Werner all play. Forsberg on the bench, Poulsen on the bench. You'll know those two players, of course. Danish, aren't they? And very interested to see how they... Is Forsberg Danish? I always get this wrong. I've got a feeling Forsberg's actually Swedish, isn't he? And Poulsen is Danish. But I may be right, I may be wrong. Dani Olmo was a player that Leipzig bought as well. He's on the bench. Player that was tipped around England as well. There we go. Evening, Mark. Hope you're all good. Come on, RB, says Matt Menko. And I mean, look, it's interesting. It's very interesting from a Spurs perspective because I don't know that they are. Zed Jamie says that apparently Mbappe has been tested for the virus. Not sure what the ramifications are. Well, if that's true in relation, we'll talk about that in a minute. I've just been on the United stand and I've just said what I think is going to happen in relation to that. So. We'll see how that develops, of course. But on the game tonight, we are going to see a game of football tonight. We might not see a game of football next week, but we are going to see a game of football tonight. And I think that Spurs would do very, very well. I mean, there's a few people saying I've got a feeling Spurs are going to win tonight. It's not definite, of course, that Spurs will go out, but... we also are... Sorry, I'm just trying to read something about this Mbappe thing whilst we're live as well, because that's rather an interesting topic. But no, I think Spurs would have to change massively, and we're not just talking about one game with Spurs here, are we? We're talking about numerous games recently, and we are... yes, he has been tested for coronavirus, which is it is interesting, isn't it? Very interesting indeed with that. I mean, but this is what's going to happen with that. But let me just finish what I'm talking about Spurs. This is what happens when you're live. You get rattled by something. With Spurs, this has been going on for a long time. Burnley, Spurs, I've seen them a few times recently, and they're just not performing well. So they and Leipzig they're doing very well in the Bundesliga, and they played very well in the other game as well, and they have got a very good way of playing football. So I just don't see Spurs doing this. I could see Spurs getting beaten 2 or 3-0, to be honest, as well. I'm interested in this game from a Manchester United point of view because we're playing them on Sunday. I'm also interested from a Werner point of view because I want him to come to United. But more importantly, I just think that this is a real opportunity for United to go and get 3 points on Sunday. But can Spurs get through? I don't know. And would it help Spurs to be out of it? I don't know. Right, so let's have a quick chat because we've still got 5 minutes to kick off here about the ramifications then. There's a lot of people are talking about this. The ramifications of the coronavirus and what it's going to mean for football. Now, this is only a theory. You've got people like Piers Morgan who are just desperate for us to sort of go on lockdown, and I think that's based on concern. I think he sees what's going on in Italy, and a lot of people see what's going on and Zed Jamie says results suggest that it's come back as negative, which is good news. I don't even know, Zed Jamie, what's going on in the world of football at the moment. I know that the Nottingham Forest chairman, and not because I'm a Forest fan, but because it was on the BBC website, he's tested positive for it. Now, he owns Olympiacos as well, but he was at a Forest game recently. You've got Mbappe being tested. It's only a matter of time before a footballer actually gets coronavirus. And I think that, the United game's being played behind closed doors, isn't it, tomorrow? On Thursday. You've got this game here in Germany being played with fans. You've got Valencia and Atalanta, which I think is being played without fans. I don't know. You've got other games that I think have been suspended. As we look on to Wednesday, I think PSG and Dortmund's being played behind closed doors as well. Liverpool won't be. And I think that the main concern is that you can say play games behind closed doors, but I think we're heading towards a time where we're not playing football for a month. So subscribe to the channel because I will just do career modes of lots of different things and we'll try and turn that into football. But no, seriously, we'll do Football Manager and everything because we've got to have some sort of entertainment, haven't we? So subscribe if you're new. Actually, we're very close to 127,000. I think we're only 30 away. So please subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. But what I think is going to happen with coronavirus is what's happening in Italy, whereby we're going to see football cancelled for a month in the UK. Because people say play games behind closed doors. But if you play games behind closed doors, what happens when a Liverpool player gets coronavirus? They have to quarantine the whole team for at least 2 weeks. So they can't play 2 or 3 games. And then they've got 2 or 3. It's an unfair disadvantage for them to play a load of games in the same week. So, and then you've got to look at, he played at the weekend. Did he? I just think that you're not going to. If we do have a pandemic or whatever they call it in the UK, which is looking inevitable, you're not going to get a situation where you can keep footballers from not getting it. And then a footballer gets it, or a manager gets it, or a coach gets it. The hope behind closed doors thing, I think, in theory, is let's keep it going. But I don't think they'll be able to. I think we're heading straight towards football being cancelled for at least a month. And that's very sad, but so's the situation in the world, ultimately, isn't it? But I think that's what we're heading for because I just don't think they're going to be able to contain it. And you look at the Italy situation now, and Italy was in the similar position to what France and Germany and the UK were in 2 weeks ago. So maybe that's what we've all got to come on. So maybe we should just enjoy the game tonight and while we can watch it, because I think it's going to be very, very different very, very quickly. Zayn Miassi says, come on RB, Spurs are finally getting back to normality. Rubbish and irrelevant. London is red, says Zayn. Just very quickly on that, what do you think the situation or future is for Jose Mourinho? I was talking about this today. I think Jose Mourinho's box office, I've said this before, now that he's not Manchester United manager, I just think, and I was talking about him on Going for Goldbridge today, I think that Jose Mourinho, if you ever want an exercise, if you're somebody that lacks confidence in talking about yourself or talking in front of a crowd, or you're scared that if you talk you're going to stutter, look at Jose Mourinho, because no matter how bad the situation is, whether it's at Manchester United, whether it's at Chelsea or whether it's at Spurs, he'll come out of an interview making you believe he shits gold, because he's brilliant at it. He's a master manipulator and he's a great public speaker. And I think, Mourinho, I remember watching I watched a Jose Mourinho press conference for 20 minutes the other week. in some irrelevant Spurs game. I've never watched a press conference of another club's manager before, but I was just enthralled the whole time. He's very, very, very watchable, Mourinho, as a character. But I don't think he's very watchable anymore as a manager of the highest level team. And he might, you know what, he might prove me wrong tonight, but I don't suspect he will. We've kicked off anyway. I don't think he will. And I think the problem with Mourinho is what I've always said. It's very rude to just say Mourinho's done out here. He's done. But I think he is. But if you want a little bit more meat on the bones, I think he's done because he's never been a manager that plays a great brand of football. And I think that the modern world, whether it's teams like Leipzig, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Manchester City, you know, whatever club, whatever country, a lot of teams now play good brands of football. Even teams like Norwich and Southampton try to play a good brand of football with limited players. Even Bournemouth with Eddie Howe. So Spurs have got a manager that just can't do that. And Eric Dyer makes a stupid... Why is he playing Eric Dyer at centre-back as well? I just don't... He's crap. He's a crap centre-back. Like, he's a half-decent midfielder, but he's a shit centre-back, Eric Dyer. I just don't get that. Weakest link. And he's made a mistake straight away there, giving a corner away. I mean, where's Davinson Sanchez? Is he injured as well? I actually thought Davinson Sanchez was all right. But, yeah, so I don't think Mourinho's style of football suits modern football. And I think the other thing he struggles from as well is that he's a bit like Sir Alex Ferguson as a manager. He's an authoritarian. And I think an authoritarian is going to struggle in the modern game where you've got many different personalities. So, yeah, that's my feeling on Mourinho. Akash says Jose's finished now. He may as well go to Serie A. He's going to get another season at Spurs. He should get another season at Spurs. I'm not for 1 second saying that he shouldn't. But I don't think it's going to end with him winning trophies. Dyer should be the holding midfielder, says Ryan Edwards. I don't understand. I don't understand why he's playing Eric Dyer as a centre-back. I don't think he's a centre-back as far as I'm concerned. Aubameyang or Kane, says Gunner for life. I'm putting you in a timeout because you have been spamming. So you're in a timeout and we're not going to answer that question. You can't just spam like that with things trying to get me to read it. It's not you're not going to get rewarded for that. 18 months it will take to get a vaccine out, says Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Are we really going to close schools, stay indoors and cancel all events for that long? We're already entering another recession. Very political statement there. Very political statement. I said the similar thing today on social media and got absolutely panned for it. But people don't want to look beyond the fact that, yeah, I've got family members and friends who are going to be in the high risk category if they get it. I get that. But are we going to shut the world down for a year or a year and a half? You know, we can't. You know, businesses can't shut down for a month without going out of business. We've already lost an airline. Your local pub can't be out of business for 18 months while we find a cure. What are we going to do? Just sit on our hands for 18 months? You just can't do it. There's big decisions to be made. There are big decisions to be made. And as I said, Italy going on lockdown for a month is great, isn't it? But what happens when they go, we've got no more new cases, open Serie A up again, open everything up again, and some prat wanders in from a different country with the virus and it all kicks off again? So you're only resetting the clock, aren't you, on a time bomb? And until you deal with the bomb, you don't deal with the problem. So I know, but then the flip side of the coin is the reason they're doing it is because the virus is overwhelming the health services of those countries, isn't it? So something has to be done, but it may be futile. Hi Mark, can I get that jumper anywhere? United Stand, says the Kraken. Yes, if you go onto the United Stand last video or any video and go in the video description, you can get it. It's on the United Stand exclusive t-shirt link on the last United Stand video. And we've got a new Bruno t-shirt. You might want to get that. Fresh out today. Lovely it is. Absolutely lovely. No school, let's go, says Ruben Scott. Well, I suppose my FIFA videos are going to do quite well, aren't they? If they do shut everything down. But then again, maybe they'll shut the internet down. I don't know. It's 1-0 to Atalanta, says Eddie Martin. And Zed Jamie says, what will happen with Forest games because their owner got it? He was at the game at the weekend. Scary times. Yeah, you know, I don't know. The way this game's opened up, though, Spurs are certainly giving it a go. The way Spurs are playing, they've got it's difficult to see how Spurs are playing at the moment. I'm just trying to have a look. So, Lo Celso, Lamela, sort of playing in the midfield. A bit all over. Obviously, Harry Winks holding the midfield. Dele Alli sort of trying to play as a striker. With Lamela, Sessegnon's over on the left. I think Sessegnon might well be playing as a left back by the looks of it. Haunted Radio says, I've never been more confident of beating Spurs in a long, long time. If United don't beat Spurs on Sunday, the only thing that can stop United beating Spurs on Sunday is the coronavirus stopping the game. Yeah, I can't see how United, in the form we're in and the form Spurs are in, don't win that game. There are fans in this ground, but there won't be fans in the United ground. That should be a penalty to Leipzig there. Maybe it wasn't a little bit soft. Mark, did you see the 442's video? There was a similar video last year where you were in it. Also, why do you believe Ollie should be given till May and not now, says George Ramos? Because he's winning at the moment, isn't he? So, you've got to give him until May. And Salim Hamid says, Mark, my wife is making soup for dinner. What soup is she making? And thanks, Matt Monco, for the link for the super chat. I make a very good soup, a very good homemade soup, and it is sweet potato and chorizo. It's a piece of piss to make. There's no piss in it, but it's absolutely lovely. Sweet potato and chorizo soup. It's banging, absolutely banging. It's got curry powder in it. Oh, it's magnificent, absolutely magnificent. It's my favourite soup. Barca and Napoli are having no fans, says Marcus Gresham. I think it's becoming quite widespread in Spain, isn't it, as well? You've got no fans, you've got no ground. You want some? What was he called? I'm Andy, the Wealdstone Raider. Anthony H says that the government have said that cancelling sports events is very unlikely in the near future. And Nicholas Skinner says, do you think that the Norwich versus United game will be behind closed doors? I was thinking about buying a ticket, but I'm not sure with these coronavirus scares. So we play Norwich a week on Saturday. Yeah, I'd be very... I said to Flex today, and this is only a prediction, I think the last game United will play with fans in the ground will be Spurs at the weekend. I don't think it'll happen again. Cammy says, would you take Calvert-Lewin at United? Is Dele Alli? Can't get it across. Spurs have started off quite well in this game. It's much more equal than it was at Wembley, to be honest. And I've got to give Spurs a bit of credit. They've played better in this game than they did in the Wembley game, where Leipzig absolutely dominated them. But maybe Leipzig are wary that they've got that one goal. Would I take Calvert-Lewin at United? I think that when you look at the success Ighalo's had, and you think about the age of Calvert-Lewin, and you think about the amount of goals Calvert-Lewin scored, he scored a lot of goals in the last year. I think he would be... I actually think he would be reasonable, considering he's going to bulk out and get better as well. I'm not going to be snobby and say no. I think if we didn't end up keeping Ighalo and we could get him at a decent price, then why wouldn't you? Sulimanto says that in Italy they're proposing 3 options for Serie A. Winner is the table as it is, or have playoffs, or either no winner. The problem with that, Sully, is that, the teams that think they could beat Juventus for the title aren't going to be happy. But more importantly, what about if you're not in the Champions League spot and you're 1 point out? And what about if you're relegated and you had an easier run in the fixtures? I don't think you can stop a season. And I suppose from a Premier League point of view, Liverpool will probably manage to get the title won already, but it still doesn't matter if Liverpool would have won the title. I think Liverpool fans are trying to... Here we go. Werner, good block by Dyer, caught it very, very well. Thought that was going to go in. And, it's a goal that time! That's it, game over. Lloris should not be being beaten from there, really. And it's Sabitzer, isn't it? Sabitzer with the goal for Leipzig. I don't know whether he's unsighted or not. It doesn't massively change the issue with Spurs in some ways, but it's on the edge of the box. He absolutely blasts it in, and it's 1-0 to RB Leipzig, and Sabitzer scores it. Werner hits a shot, it's blocked by Dele Alli in the chest. Spurs poor and slow to win the second balls. Werner knocks it to Sabitzer on the edge of the box, who hits it low along the ground. You feel that maybe Lloris is a little bit unsighted. Maybe not. Maybe he needs to get a stronger hand on that. Let's watch it from behind. That's what she says. Catches it well. No, Lloris has got a good vision of it. He's at full stretch. Just doesn't get a strong enough hand on it. And it's 1-0 to RB Leipzig. And Spurs heading down out of this already. Spurs losing already. Can they come back from that? Doesn't massively change the situation. Spurs were going to need to score 2 goals tonight anyway, but they're definitely going to have to score 2 goals now. Manchester United will be fancying their chances against this Spurs side if they're going to let you have a shot, win the second ball and then have another shot. That's not good defending from Spurs at all. And I think, again, it goes back to the changes he's making at the back. Mourinho's always been a manager that's very good defensively, isn't he? And I think at Spurs, he is not good defensively. This is not a Spurs side that's defending well. And if you can't keep clean sheets and you haven't got any striking options, you can sense that the Spurs heads will be dropping down already now. And I didn't fancy them getting back into this. I thought they started off quite well. We mustn't write them off straight away. But we are actually only 10 minutes into this game. And already Spurs facing the prospect of maybe a humiliation again. Maybe Leipzig will go and get a few more now. They've settled into the game. But Spurs desperately need a goal. And a goal could change it. You know what? If they get a goal, it's 1-1, but away goals do count. It would make it a little bit nervy. So, yeah, let's have a look and see how the second half progresses from there. But I must just change the score for you as well. Poor defending for me, that goal from Spurs, from Leipzig. You know, Werner gets the shot off, and what I would be saying if I was managing is you can't allow that to bounce like that. You've got to go and get the second ball. And they don't go and get the second ball. And it's 1-0. And it is 1-0 in the Atalanta-Valencia game as well, which is rather surprising. But there you go. Red Bull gives you wings, says Jonathan Gambrel. And Jester Vengeance says, Mark, here is my end-of-year table. Side netting for Leipzig there. Here's my end-of-year table. Liverpool 1, City 2, Chelsea 3, United 4. Leicester City hasn't looked good in 2020. I still think Leicester are vulnerable. That was offside for Leipzig anyway. I do think that Jester's right. I do think Leicester are vulnerable. I know they won well last night, but they need to find some form with the running that they've got. And Michael Mearstar says, if the league is stopped, what will happen with City's Champions League spot? Says Michael Mearstar. I don't know. There's big decisions to be made. I mean, look, ideally, my ideal scenario would be I cannot see a situation where there isn't a cancellation of games across Europe. The Champions League and the Europa League cannot get completed, I don't think. The Euros is definitely going to get cancelled, which we'll talk about in a moment. But with regards to the Premier League, well, I would think that at some point they're going to have to cancel the Premier League for a month. And what I would think will happen is that the Euros gets cancelled. And the Euros will get cancelled, I think, mainly because it's a new Euros, isn't it? They're not playing it in one country. It's not the Euros in Portugal or the Euros in Germany or England. It's the Euros in Portugal, England, Italy. It's this new format where they play it all over the place, which I think is an exciting format, but I think it's an absolute cancellation straight away when you're trying to do a tournament like that and you've got a pandemic, because you are moving vast amounts of people around lots of different countries. I think if the Euros was being held in one country, it'd have more chance of staying. So I think the Euros will get cancelled. So if the Euros do get cancelled, as I predict, what I would like to see happen if we are going to have a cancellation, maybe cancel the Premier League for 5 or 6 weeks till mid-April and then start it up again. And most footballers in the Premier League were going to be playing in the Euros till sort of mid-July anyway. So the Premier League starts again in mid-April and goes to the end of June. That's what I would like to see. And then but we still open the transfer window as the same time, but there are still Premier League games going on until the end of June. And maybe that can happen with the Champions League as well. But I think they've got to be creative. I'd be very frustrated and disappointed if they went, oh, let's just stop it and let's just start it all again in August. Because I think that would be, that would create its own problems. And also, remember, there's many other leagues. It's not just the Premier League in England. There's the Championship, there's League One, there's League Two. And I think Liverpool fans as well they're just desperate to win the league. I think Liverpool fans think, oh, let's just win the league. Let's hope that Man City lose to Arsenal and we beat Everton on Monday and then we're champions and then they can do what they like. But rules are rules. I know you've won the league, but the league has to be completed for you to win the league. So even if Liverpool win the league with 5 games or 10 games, well, they can't. If Liverpool win the league with 8 games to spare, if the league gets cancelled with 5 games to spare, you haven't won the league because the league's not been completed. You can't give somebody the league title if you don't complete the league. So the league must be completed for Liverpool to win the title. So that's why I would say, if we're going to have to cancel it for a little bit, let's cancel it for a bit. The Euros will probably get cancelled anyway. Let's play on until June. Hey Mark, hope you're doing well. What do you think about Marcel Sabitzer, Leipzig number 7? Do you think he could be an option for United? Says Paulo Ramirez. I think he's good. I do like the look of him. He's not a player I've really kept a massive eye on in the past, but he gets a lot of goals. He's physical, he's quick, he's got a good shot on him, as we've just seen there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him moving on from Leipzig as well soon. Are you surprised Ndombele isn't starting because of his lazy performance against Burnley, says Aaron O'Neill? No, I think if you've had the misfortune of having Jose Mourinho manage your club recently, you'll be fully aware that Jose Mourinho is not quiet when he scapegoats a player. He's not quiet when he Skypes a player either, because speaking is very important. But when he wants to scapegoat a player, he would do it. As I said a few minutes ago, Jose Mourinho is the master of deception. It's never his fault, and he's got no problem. As I say, this is why Mourinho's done in the modern game, because he exposes and outs his own players, and he did that at United, and he's done it with Ndombele already, hasn't he? And I think that will, with the modern player, not every player. What a cross that was by Aurier, and well cleared for a corner by Upamecano, who's a very good centre-back, by the way. But yeah, I mean, he may well have terminally ruined that relationship with Ndombele now. I mean, he might be a player that responds to criticism, but he might not be. And we saw that at United. There were players like Luke Shaw and Martial and Rashford who didn't respond to that criticism. And, they were glad to see the back of him. So, 0-0 here. It's 1-0. Yeah, as Jamie says, remember what he did to Luke Shaw, yeah. So I think this is one of the problems why Mourinho's done. He can't change his style of football for the modern game, and he can't change his man management style for the modern game, and I think you definitely need to do that. And it's 2-0. I was looking at my phone. It's 2-0. Oh no, it might be offside. Werner. They're not going to give it. The linesman's doing a little bit. He's walking like a boss, and he's saying no goal. Werner. Yeah, you're miles off, mate. You're miles off, unfortunately. He's saying no. Yes. Don't stop wagging your finger. You're off. It's not 2-0. It's 1-0. Offside for Werner there, which saved me because I wasn't looking at the screen, which is naughty of me. There you go. The Galesman, probably younger than you. Please do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we have just hit 127,000, so I'm just going to change the number of that. Appreciated everybody who is subscribing to the channel. This channel could be about to become more watched than it is watched quite a lot anyway for the old FIFA stuff. But if we are going to be in a time where there's not going to be much football for a month, we'll definitely be doing Football Manager careers and FIFA careers on here to pass the time and have a bit of competition. So make sure you do subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner, and get your notifications on. I didn't expect to be playing Football Manager again this year, not because it's not relevant, but I just didn't think I'd have the time. And if I did do Football Manager, I think we should try and do it. Find a way where you manage more than one club, because I think that's quite good. What's your opinion on Leipzig after their right RB money? Says Omagal. You'd have to educate me on this. When we did the watch along a few weeks ago at not Wembley, they don't play there anymore, do they? At Spurs Stadium, whatever they call it. There was a few people saying that they didn't like RB Leipzig because they're a bit like the Man City of Germany, where they've basically had a load of money pumped into them. They've certainly come from nowhere. I never really remembered them that. I never really heard of them much, but being a British fan, I'm not really aware of the background to them. So when I see them playing, I'm like, oh, they're decent. And I suppose maybe the people on the continent think that about Manchester City, but I don't know. I don't know what the story is. I don't know. Jaden Beckham says that Mbappe is being tested for coronavirus. Yes, this is news. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if he's got it, it's not like it's gonna. He's not a 75-year-old with underlying health conditions, is he? And that is a goal, and that's a cracking goal, and it's Sabitzer again, and that is a brilliant goal. There's nothing Lloris can do about this. It's a cross that comes in, and he just bullet heads it in. Absolutely fantastic goal here. Let's see it back, and Spurs are absolutely. Look at Mourinho. He ain't happy. He's trying to get him clapping. He's trying to get him up, but no, they know there's no way back here. 2-0, 2 goals for Sabitzer. And let's have a look at this. It's a raking ball out to the left-hand side. Aurier, terrible header by Aurier. That's the mistake. The cross comes in, and Sabitzer gets to the head before the Spurs defender does. Probably shouldn't be beating Lloris from there. Again, maybe Lloris's arm is just not strong enough there. But for Spurs, they're just not strong enough. Symbolic. They're not strong enough. And that is where we're at. Mourinho just goes from bad to worse. This team are on the floor. And I said it, what would it take for Mourinho to get sacked? I don't think he can be sacked before next season. I think he's got to be given another season. But the form that they are in at the moment is just shocking. Absolutely shockingly bad. Tottenham at the moment, and this game is pretty much done already. What's your favourite packet of crisps? Yeah, I think we'll be on that in a minute. Abhishek Mukashi says, is Guardiola making City play like a team of robots? Do you think that the players have enough independence when they are playing under Pep? Well, I think they always did do, to be fair. I just think that the style of Pep's football is a bit predictory. They're going to try and pass their way through you, and if they don't do that, they don't really have a plan B. And Andrew Chow says, Mark, strong news that the proposal is for the Euros to be pushed back to next summer 2021 and domestic European Cups can be completed. Your thoughts? That's what I would do, Andrew Chow. I would like to see maybe a sabbatical mid-season break for a month or so, and then you finish the season by letting it run through to June, and then we put the Euros back to next summer. I think that would be a common sense approach. Yeah, but what happens next season is the Nations Cup, isn't it? So maybe you could put that back to the following summer, because there is no you just cancel it, don't you? Yeah, it's a crap tournament anyway. Yeah, let's just cancel that. Yeah, but I don't. Well, effectively, what I don't want to see is I don't want to see a situation where it's let's just stop it now, and where you are in the league is where you finish. That would be silly. I think and also I think the most important thing is that this could be with us for a year. We could have this for a whole year. So we can't. We've got to try and do something about it. And then if it doesn't work, I think we're just gonna have to roll with it. Sadly, 1-1 in the Valencia game as well. Please do subscribe if you're new. Thank you for tuning in. We've got over 5,000 people watching. Spurs are 2-0 down after 25 minutes here, and they've offered very little. It's predictory. It's very predictory. Is that a word? I don't think it is. But it's very predictable. That's the word. Because Leipzig are just opening them up all the time, and it's another corner here. Defensively, Spurs are awful. They're all at sea. They're a pack of dolphins, and up front they're toothless. They're a toothless pack of dolphins. That is what Spurs are. in massive trouble here. I said this could be an embarrassment. There's an increasing trend among Premier League goalkeepers to concede at the near post. Do you think it has something to do with technique or just coincidence, says Abhinav Ray. I'd have to see the stats on that, Abhinav, but ultimately, I did a bit of goalkeeper training when I was about 13 because I was quite tall and I used to like going in goal, but I liked playing out more. So I used to go and play in goal if I was ever injured or anything like that or tired. I'd have the odd game in goal. And goalkeeping, if you get trained properly... Oh, bit of a break here for Spurs. Dele Alli, he's held on to that for too long. What a prat. And it wasn't Dele Alli because it was Lamella. Sorry, Dele Alli. Corner now to Leipzig. The goalkeeping is all about angles. You should be able to position yourself so that basically you always know how much of a dive you've got to cover your post. If you get your angles right, you can stand in an angle where you know your arm out that way covers that post and your arm out that way. Basically, if a shot's coming in at you from the left, you should be positioning yourself where an arm's length that way is covering your front post and an arm's length that way is covering your back post. Or in different scenarios, it's two arms or whatever. It's all about your angles as a goalkeeper. And Lloris there has just not reacted quick enough. And his arm's not strong enough. They've got Eric Dyer playing at centre-back. That says it all, says Ray Martin. I've got to give you a real tick there, Ray, or a thumbs up. I don't understand why Eric Dyer is playing at centre-back. He's absolute shite. Mark, with Spurs out, is it that Harry Kane defo gone? Levy will surely let him go after the loyalty is shown, says Trent Singh. Yeah, he might let him go, but I don't think he'll let him go to Manchester United. A bit of a break here for Lucas Moura. He's not quite got the pace, and they're losing the ball a lot here, Spurs. Jay Singh, what do you think of the possibility of United signing Sancho, Bellingham and Grealish? How likely would you say this is as a percentage, and there is still a chance of Poch becoming our manager? Well, no, there isn't a chance of Poch becoming our manager if we sign those three players, because we'll only get those three if we get Champions League football, and if we get Champions League football, we'll keep Ollie. So there's your answer. Percentage chance of us signing Sancho, Grealish and Bellingham. You know what? You really shouldn't be saying anything more than 20%, but I would say at this point in time, 50. I do think it's quite high if we get Champions League football. And Harold Holsversvold says, Red Bull bought a level 5 club with a stadium, changed the name, found a loophole to the rule of 50+1 for clubs in Germany, and got the club to close in year 6. Fine, okay. So they bought a level 5 club with a stadium, changed the name, and found a loophole to the rule of 50+1 for clubs in Germany, and got the club to in year 6. Okay, all right. So yeah, they basically built a club from nothing, haven't they? But where did all the fans come from then? Because there's quite a lot of fans in there. Did they just start supporting them? Leipzig on the attack again here. Mourinho, heart in mouth. Or shot by Werner, saved by Lloris. I've just tweeted a couple of things out there about Spurs. One, how is Aurier even ever selected? Every time I see Aurier play. I mean, look, Aurier was a player that was linked to Manchester United a couple of years ago. And there'll be a video about him on the United stand. So I've got to be a bit careful because I would have said, I think he looks a really good player. But you know, I don't go back on that. And PAVFC has basically said what I was going to say. The Aurier dilemma, a right back who can't defend. Yes. He, going forward, has got a lovely cross on him. And when he was at PSG, I thought he looked quite decent. But you always have... It's a bit like Bruno at United, isn't it? I thought he would definitely succeed. But there's always that question mark of, oh, just because they've done well in that league, will they do well in the Premier League? And I think Aurier is a player that, yeah, all right, you did well in France, but he ain't much of a defender at all. He's a terrible defender. But he's got a lovely delivery on him, but he's a terrible defender. Lamella shooting from distance here. Spurs would do well to get out of this with a respectable scoreline, to be honest. I think they'd take this. Why do we want Werner? We need a goal scorer, says Holly Grain. Maybe check his stats out, Holly Grain. We'll leave it at that. I don't want to get personal. Mbappe does not have coronavirus, says Mr. D7. Rog V says Spurs are getting absolutely dominated. Mourinho is more past it than a dinosaur. Jurassic Park. I think he is. And I said this when he went to Spurs in November, and Spurs fans didn't want to listen. And Chelsea fans said it to United fans when he came to us, and we didn't want to listen. Because you don't. Because you hear the name Mourinho and you think, no, he's a great manager, and he's not. He's not. I was very excited when he came to Manchester United, and he's not a great manager at all. He isn't. He's dreadful in the modern game. He really struggles. I don't know that. The trouble is, not every manager has longevity as well. You mean Sir Alex Ferguson he retired winning the Premier League, and he won bloody loads of them as well, and he kept reinventing himself and kept reinventing his teams. And a lot of what Sir Alex Ferguson did reinvention wise was getting assistant managers in that were different, with different styles of play, and it worked for him. And I actually thought with Mourinho, because he's got the assistant manager in from Lille, didn't he? Who does play a good brand. They did play a good brand of football, but it's just still the same old Mourinho stuff. Werner, just over the bar. He's just not cut out for it. But like I said, look at Wenger. Wenger was a great manager who was poor for 10 years. A lot of managers, it doesn't end well. You know, they end up getting the sack, and that's the end of them. There's not many managers who go out on top. Matunik, I like this. He says he's an analog manager in a digital world. He's a VHS tape in a DVD player. He's a DVD player in a Netflix world. Yeah, you know, we could go on and on. We really could. We could go on all night. He's a Sega Mega Drive cartridge in a PS4. I like these. They're good. Do some more. Yeah. He's a pair of gloves on a bloke with no hands. They're getting worse. Man City versus Arsenal tomorrow night, says Zarieb. No. I would have done that. But we're doing Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool. We might change. If Liverpool gone batter them like I think they will, we might change at half time. But we'll start off with Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid tomorrow night. Watch along. And we'll see what happens in that. I think Liverpool will win that, by the way. But yeah. He's a blockbusters when you've got Netflix. Sort of a twist on what I said, but you're very welcome. Try another one. And have we improved since he left, though? Haven't won anything or got as high in the league, says Little Teapot. Yeah, but I think the players look happier. The football seems slightly better. You know, Marcus Rashford and Martial have improved massively as well. Lloris punches clear there. Still only half an hour gone in this game. He's a floppy disk in a MacBook Pro, says Devitra Plays. He's a Nokia phone in an Apple world, says Mohammed Salim. And then he's put... You've ruined that because you put laughing faces next to it. So you're laughing at your own joke, which is always a bit sad. Werner can play anywhere across the attack. Do some research, those who don't think he's a goal scorer, says James Sousa. Or watch tonight's United stand, because I was talking about Werner. That's what we can do. He's a 1980s comb for a bold 2020s man, says Kevin O'Keefe. Does that one work? I think it does. Is Jesse Lingard in a title-winning side? I didn't look up on my phone for that. I was looking at something else. But yeah, please do. What I was looking at, I was wanting to see how many subscribers we've got on this channel. We're getting close to 130,000. We're on 127 at the moment, so we won't do that tonight. But please do subscribe to this channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. There is some contingency plans I've put in place with regards to. What's going on in the world. If football does get totally cancelled for a month, then I'm going to do like Football Manager careers and FIFA careers and everything like that, so that we've all got a little bit of entertainment and stuff to get excited about, and we'll do it sort of daily as well. So please subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner, and get involved with that, because we've got to keep ourselves sane. We can't just Netflix and chill for a month. We'll get very sore. So yeah, subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Funny thing is, I was on a night out once. I've told this story before. I was on a night out before once, and a few years ago, and I'm not always down with the kids. I don't know everything. You know, life's not always listening to Stormzy and the latest steak bake from Greg's. So I was like down the pub, and someone was talking about Netflix, and I went, I haven't got Netflix. So I've never done this whole Netflix and chill thing. And they all started laughing. I was like, what are you on about? And they said, watching Netflix isn't watching Netflix and having a nice relax, you know. And I was like, well, what the bloody hell is it? And they were like, no, Netflix and chill means getting laid, basically. And I was like, well, why do they call it Netflix and chill? And they were like, I don't really know. I said, well, I'm glad you've told me that, because if I did have Netflix and I was on the phone to my mum or something, she'd say, what are you doing tonight? I'd probably just say Netflix and chill. But she probably would think I'm just going to watch something on Netflix and relax. Mark Taine says, rest in peace, Mark's cat. You know, Ricky Gervais's cat died today. He's an animal lover. Not in that way, but he's a proper animal lover. And yeah, it's been a solemn day in the household, really. It's quite sad because the cat lived in a room. This is gonna sound bad. Its room was off the utility room, and it had its own bed and everything. And we always walk out that way to take the kids to school, and we come in and out that way. So everyone was walking past the bed. So I've gone and put it in the garage, which was sad in itself, but it was just making people sad walk past the bed, because you always expect to see her in there. So yeah, it is sad, but she wasn't very well. And I think animals are lucky in that sense, that you can put them out of their misery. Because literally yesterday, we knew she's not well, and the vet had said she's probably got 4 or 5 weeks, but you'll know when she starts to suffer. And literally yesterday evening, she just, a couple of things happened, and you went, wow, that was really quick. So we took her straight to the vet. So literally it was very little suffering. And with animals, you do get to take that decision, don't you? Unless you fly to Switzerland and you can do it yourself as a human. But yeah, animal lovers don't get it. But at the end of the day, they're just animals, aren't they? But they're more than that if they're pets. Who will win, Liverpool or Atletico Madrid? Says Michael Wood. I think Liverpool will win. I do. I think 1-0 is not enough to take to Anfield. Atletico Madrid will need to score. The only thing I would say is that Liverpool at the moment don't look great. I mean, at Bournemouth at the weekend, what did they win? 2-1? They didn't look that great. So Atletico Madrid could do it, but I think the way Simeone will match the game is to try and get a clean sheet, and I don't think that's how you get past Liverpool at the moment. Mark, can you do an online Football Manager save? Says Madone999. How do I do that? I'm willing to try these things out, but how do you do that? Tottenham United predictions, Ayashar. I can't look past United. I mean, have you seen how bad Spurs are? And I just think the way United are at the moment, I can actually vision those white shirts being red shirts and Spurs shirts being white shirts, because it's at Spurs. And I can just see United doing exactly what Leipzig are doing to Spurs, just knocking the ball around. And I just don't think Spurs have got anything about them. They're vulnerable at the back. They've got sod all up front. The only thing decent about Spurs is their midfield. Like they're the opposite of what United were a couple of months ago. United's attack was good, their defence was good, and their midfield was the mint with a hole, polo. But Spurs are different. They're the hole in a polo. They've got no mint. T-Ho says he's an Andy Tate in a Goldbridge world. He's a twat in a Goldbridge world, then, isn't he? And DT in the chat, is he? Can't see him. I thought he'd retired. I've not heard from him in ages, actually. There was a time when I couldn't move for seeing him, and I haven't seen him in bloody ages. I can't see him in the chat either, so I presume that's a joke. We'll see if he appears again. Ragvav says, Mark, with the expected departure of Pogba, do you feel we should start building a team around Bruno and Martial? I think that would be a good idea. And Haunted Radio, Mark, that Werner story kind of shocked me and made me happy that Werner wants to be part of the project, if indeed it is the right project. Yeah, did anybody see that about Timo Werner? You need to watch the United Stand, really, but basically Timo Werner said today, and this would encourage maybe even an Arsenal fan, although they're not going to win, they're not going to be in the Champions League and they have no project. But with regards to the Timo Werner story, he basically has been interviewed before this game and said that he now I've got to get this right. Obviously, he's always been predicted that he would go to Liverpool, and he basically said that he's in that situation at Leipzig where he's thinking, do I stay at Leipzig and try and build something great, or do I go to a new club with a new challenge? And then he went on to say that teams like Liverpool and Man City have already achieved everything, so going to a club that's a big club that's trying to build something, I'm thinking about being part of that new challenge. Spurs, oh, good shot there. I think it was Lo Celso curling it to the bottom corner. Keeper made a good save and nobody could follow it in for Spurs. So it remains 2-0 with 4 minutes to go. Spurs struggling with injuries like United has had, says Jenks 1102. Good bit of play here by Lo Celso. I think Lo Celso is a decent player. He's a decent player in a bad side. That's what I think he is. Fadine says Sancho and Werner in, Mark. Oh, I'd love it. Absolutely love it. And Mark, it's pronounced Leipzig. Sorry, just cringe every time you're saying it. Leipzig. Is it just my age, or does it seem like the big teams ain't what they were? Real and Barca looking bang average now. And have you watched You on Netflix, says Humza Goose. Yeah, I would recommend people watch You. It's a very, very clever programme. And I really, really did like it. So do watch it. Isn't Martial not good enough for number 9? Do we need Werner? Says Uzza Animations. I think we need some backup there, to be honest with you. Thank you very much. So we are 3 minutes to half time. I think Spurs will be happy that it's 2-0, to be honest with you. 2-0 down after 20 minutes. They've offered very little. Very little indeed. That Lo Celso, I don't see them getting back into it. No, I don't. Stranger Things Season 4 is coming out, thought, says my nan. Looking forward to that. I like that. I do like that. And I did do my top 5 Netflix series the other day, didn't I? And I do like that. But Spurs have got a corner here for everybody. It's Lo Celso on it. As I said, I think Lo Celso's... I thought that Lo Celso was a very good signing for Spurs. I think that... it always interested me that it took a while to adjust. But then, you look at people like Fred, who took a year. You look at Pepe, who, I think it's going to take about 10 years to adjust. It does take time for some people to adjust, doesn't it? So, but no, seriously, Fred took a bit of time. And before I get the hate for Pepe, I've always said I quite like Pepe, and I wouldn't have minded United signing him. I just think he plays in a team that's not very good. I think if you put Pepe in a good team, you'd have a good player. But here's Leipzig on the advance again. Cross comes in. Spurs, they're so bad. Eric Dyer again kicks it against the Leipzig player and it nearly bounces in. Lloris has to make a save. They're just so lazy and useless at the back. Ridiculously bad at the back, Spurs. Unbelievable. It's like, reminds me when I played against DT, that Eric Dyer. He's just got no pace. He's all arse. Just a big arse. Just getting in the way. Useless. Good job he went into management. I was more of a player. So we're nearly at half time. Not quite. Minute to go. Injury here. Yellow card to Harry Winks there. I mean, of course, the problem with Spurs is, and I've said this about Manchester United as well, is that they've got all these injuries, and you go, oh my God, they've got no Bergwijn, they've got no Kane, they've got no Son, but they may well get other injuries as well. Like, there's still so many games to play unless coronavirus comes in. I mean, from Spurs' point of view, it is half time here, but from a Spurs point of view, let's get serious here. They probably wouldn't mind the season stopping for a month. From a Manchester United point of view, if the season got stopped for a month, when it comes back, Rashford's going to be virtually fit. So there is that way of looking at it as well. So there we are at half time. Thanks everybody who's tuning in, and please do subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. And do you think that Norwich will survive, says Alfie Quadling. And Mark, you always say Maddison slightly better than Grealish. Any reason, says Aisha. I just feel that Maddison, I mean, get your topics in, it is half time. There's not a lot to talk about at half time with that. Leipzig doing exactly what we thought they would do. They've been the better side, and Spurs have been toothless up front and crap at the back. I mean, Eric Dyer, I don't blame him climbing through the stadiums to have a go at somebody, but I blame him at the back. He's awful. But I blame Mourinho for picking him at the back. What's going on with Spurs centre-backs? They haven't got an injury centre-back crisis, have they? I always thought Davinson Sancho was quite good. And I would say Vertonghen's better than bloody Dyer. He's crap. He literally is Dyer at centre-back. So, yeah, I don't think he should be playing there. And Tottenham and United combined 11, says Chrisman XD. I'll do a combined 11 show later in the week. Flex was meant to be doing one with Darren Bent, who used to play for Spurs, but I don't know whether he did it. So if not, I'll do that. And Mark, if we sack Ollie, targets like Sancho would be deterred with the confusion around the club, says Humza Goose. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Eric Dyer, I think if you want Sancho, you need Ollie to stay. I don't see Sancho coming if Ollie gets the sack, because I think Ollie will only get the sack if we don't get top four, and if we don't get top four, I don't see Sancho coming. Eric Dyer is Jose's obsession, a bit like MC McTominay was his pet project. He trusts him to play all over the field. Eric Dyer is Jose. Yeah, I think you're right there, Nick P. I think you're right there. It was Nick P. How does it feel doing live streams for Champions League when you're not in it? Scumchester United, says Pranav Narayan. How does it feel being a sad little twat? That's what I would say to you. Mark, you always say Maddison. I've done that. Spurs have got no strikers, says Jonathan Gallagher. Yeah, look, I've got to be honest. I thought when Mourinho was moaning about no Son and Kane, I was a little bit like, you're just making excuses. I would come in at this point and say his January signing to help out with that problem has got injured for the rest of the season as well. So Bergwijn, Kane and Son, I think at that point you can say, look, that's very difficult. You're talking about Arsenal not having Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang there. And I know they've got decent depth, but Spurs don't have it in them positions. You're talking about Liverpool not having Mane, Salah and Firmino. They would struggle. You know, what would they do? Who would they play? Shaqiri and bloody Origi and somebody else? They would struggle. And Man City, no Aguero, no Jesus, no Sterling. Yeah, all right, they've got... Well, who would they play? So, United, no Rashford, Martial or Greenwood. It is difficult for them without 3 strikers. I agree with that. I think it is hard, but I think that Mourinho could set that team up better as well. I think, why are you playing Dele Alli as a striker? Because there's nobody else, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he has got to do that, in all honesty. But yeah, they're struggling. Getafe versus Inter Milan predictions. Is that even going ahead? Are you sure? I thought Inter Milan had... I thought football had been suspended in Italy. Does that not take into the Europa League as well? Or do they still have to play those games? I don't know. I would have thought that would be unfair on Inter, that they're not playing any Serie A games till April, but they've got to play Europa League games. Do players just stop training? I don't know what's going on. Do I think Arsenal can beat City, Mark? Says Harry Civils. No, I don't. I think it's like a budgie trying to beat a lion. I think they'll get absolutely eaten up. I thought Man City played quite well against United at the weekend, but you've got to take into account that it was a Manchester derby at Old Trafford, and I just don't think Arsenal can go to the Etihad and replicate what we did, because United did it with a very good defence. Arsenal don't have a very good defence, so I don't see... And then if you try and beat them at their own game, you'll get beat. So I don't think Arsenal have got the players to do what United did. And look, I'll put my hands up and say United did part the bus. But we're good enough to part the bus. We've got a very good bus, and it's very hard to break down. So I think Arsenal could get beat tomorrow big time. And also, when you look at this, I think the weekend for Arsenal, I think they made... I've said with Arsenal that I think that they could get back into the top 4 race, but I think when you look at it now, what happened at the weekend, no, they can't. Look, Arsenal made points on Spurs, but they didn't make any points on anybody else. They're still 3 points behind Sheffield United. They're still they made points on Wolves because Wolves drew, so they made 2 on them. But United, Chelsea, and Leicester all won. So Arsenal have got winnable games now, but their fixtures in April are very difficult. If you look at Arsenal's games now, they've got... Man City's difficult. That's their game in hand, so forget that. Then they're away against Brighton. They could win that on Saturday. Then they've got the FA Cup against Sheffield United, so bin that. Then they've got Norwich at home. So they've got Brighton away, Norwich at home. They could win those 2 games and get 6 points. But then they've got Wolves away, Leicester at home, Spurs away, Liverpool at home, Villa away, Watford at home. So, yeah, all right, they could beat Villa away and they could beat Watford at home. But they're not going to beat Wolves away, Leicester at home, Spurs away, and Liverpool at home. They're not going to win all of those games, are they? So, and they're playing catch-up. So I just don't see... I think Arsenal might win the next couple of games and believe that they're in a top 4 race. But realistically, you're 8 points off 4th. They're not going to make up 8 points. Not with those fixtures, I'm afraid. Arsenal are just not going to do it. And they can believe that or not, but they will not do it. They won't do it. And I think, just very quickly as well, when you look at that race for top 4, Leicester have got an 8-point gap on United, and they've got a 5-point gap on Chelsea. Well, Leicester away to Watford at the weekend. They could lose that. Then they're at home to Chelsea. They could lose that. So that could be Chelsea ahead of them. Then they've got Everton away. I think they'll struggle there. They've got Palace at home. They should win that, but you don't know. Arsenal away, they could struggle there. Bournemouth away, could be fighting for their lives. That could be difficult. Sheffield United at home, could also be difficult. Spurs away, difficult. Man United at home. So Spurs might not get that many points between now and the end of the season. So they are vulnerable as well. So they're vulnerable, even though they've got a big gap at the moment. Chelsea's fixtures are interesting. They play Villa away on Saturday, which they might fancy that Villa game at the moment. You'd expect them to win that. Then they've got Leicester away, which will be a massive game, and you'd expect United to pounce on that. West Ham away could be difficult because it's a London game. Watford at home, you never know with bloody Watford. Palace away, it's another London game. Sheffield United away, difficult. Norwich at home, you'd expect them to win that. Chelsea away, and then Wolves at home. So they've got difficult games. United have got the easiest run-in. I think that's why a lot of United fans are confident that we can get top 4. They do have the easier run-in. What's your thoughts on Billy Gilmour, says Sam Chelsea FC? I think he looks fantastic, mate. I really do think he looks good. I did a video on Jude Bellingham this morning on the United stand, and I think, there are not similarities, but it's exciting when these young British players are getting given chances. And Jude Bellingham's played over 30 games in the Championship. That's a stunning thing for a 16-year-old to do. But Gilmour, I saw his interview after the game, and I was like, you look like you should be playing under 14s, but I've just watched you play, and you weren't out of place. Very exciting. Combined 11, one player from each team, says Specs. This is so difficult. I need a pen and paper. I'll try and do it in the second half. Would you take Ronaldo back if he wants out of Italy, says Paul DeLuca. Yeah, I would. Totally romantic, but I would. And hi Mark, you missed me on the super chat. Do you think Ancelotti instead of Poch? Poch could not win a cup or any real trophy. How can he win the Premier League, says Bradley Hull. Yeah, but you've got to look at the circumstances with that. I mean, it's not like Poch had an open checkbook like Pep did. Could Pep have won trophies with Southampton and Spurs? I don't think so. So I do think the trophy thing with Poch is very unfair. I think that if he came to United or a City and didn't win a trophy, then you'd have to say that maybe he is a bottler. But he got very very close to winning the Champions League last summer. And to be honest, I don't think that was a penalty against Liverpool, and that was the reason that Liverpool won the game. So yeah, he got very very close there. I think it's a bit unfair to say he can't win trophies, because I think that is a little bit unfair. Mark, we've got Leicester in the FA Cup, says Mr. Fish. Oh, you haven't got to play him in the league, in the Premier League. Sorry, that's idiotic of me. I apologise for that. So that would have been really useful. I take it you've played Leicester twice. Take it Chelsea have played Leicester twice now. Then remiss of me. Let me just double check. So yeah, that is. So Chelsea's next league games are Villa away, West Ham, Chelsea, Watford. Yeah. So you haven't got to play Leicester again, which actually makes your running a little bit easier then, because that Chelsea game would have been quite nice, but it's a cup game. You don't get any points for that. Mark, if Mourinho gets sacked, who will he manage in the next in the UK? Expressions is having a meltdown, says Zane Yassi. Oh, Expressions is always having a bloody meltdown, isn't he? Do you think I'm not saying anything more than that because I like Expressions. Do you think the Euros will be cancelled to 2021 and Atlanta are playing right now, even though no Serie A till next month? Arturo Vengas, 2 very good points. I think the Euros should be put back till next summer so that we can all have a month off now to try and get a hold of this coronavirus, and then we can all play the league games again. And I think, you know what? My mind works like this. We've been talking about the coronavirus, and a lot of people are like, why should we cancel football and large gatherings for a month? Because in a month's time, the virus will still be here. We still won't have a cure, and it will still be a massive problem. But I think what this is about is we're still effectively in the winter, aren't we? In a month's time, it might start to warm up a bit. And in a month's time, if we stop social gatherings, we might be able to limit the spread of it by people interacting far less, which means the pressure on the National Health Service will be less. So yeah, in a month's time, maybe just go, look, we can't stay like this forever. Let's open everything up again. Yeah, there's going to be a spike in the diseases, but we've slowed it down for a month, which has made us a month further on. So yeah, look, I'm not a mathematician in that sort of thing in any sense. Are you from Birmingham? Says MOT. No, I'm not. I'm not from Birmingham. I'm not. I do live in the Birmingham area. Well, I don't live in the Birmingham area. I live in Solihull, which, if you live in Solihull, you don't class yourself as from Birmingham. But I'm not from Birmingham, so I probably should say that Solihull is part of Birmingham, but it probably isn't really. No, I was born and bred in Nottingham. That's where I'm from. Thoughts on Upper Meccano? I think he's a very good player. Yeah, I like Upper Meccano. I do. Mr. DW Gamer says, I love Werner. I think he would be a fantastic player for Manchester United. And Alex K, for the millionth time I've been asked this, it's not your fault. Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool thoughts. We will be live for that one tomorrow night. And I think that Liverpool will win that. Yes, I don't think 1 goal will be enough. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. We're trying to get up to 128,000 tonight or tomorrow night. And would you do a chart show for the whole league, says Ewan Hacking? It'd be very difficult to do it. It's easy to do it for your own club because you know your club like the back of your hand. To do it for the whole league, you'd have to watch every bloody Premier League game, wouldn't you? I'd be faking it. Zayn Miassi says, everyone is asking in comments section, Martinelli or Greenwood. Martinelli all the way, future Brazilian Ronaldo. No. I rate them both. I don't see the point in trying to sort of differentiate between the two, to be honest. I think I rate them both, and I'm very happy that we've got Mason Greenwood. Yeah. That's what I think. Mbappe has been tested for corona, but we don't know whether he's got it. If he has got it, he's just going to be ill for a bit, isn't he? Is it true? Yeah, I've just said that. Mark, have you ever smoked? And if so, what brands, has Leo Spite? Well, that's a bit off topic, isn't it? I did used to smoke. I used to smoke. It's funny because my parents smoked when I was growing up, and I hated it. And I used to come home from, science lessons where they'd tell you about smoking and the damage. I'd say it's disgusting, you shouldn't do it. And then as soon as I got down the pub, I started smoking myself. And I smoked probably until the smoking ban, whatever year that was. And then I just used to. I only ever used to smoke when I was drinking. I wasn't like get up in the morning and have a fag, or get up in the morning, smoke 20 a day. I did it a little bit every now and again, but it wasn't. I liked smoking with a pint. That's what I used to like doing, and then I just stopped doing it. So I've been stopped for probably well over 10 years now. So yeah, I just don't do it. Yeah, I don't like it anymore, but I used to like it. And Benson and Edgers, used to smoke those. When I didn't have a lot of money, I used to smoke those Javelins, Super King. I don't know whether they still do them. And the great thing about Super Kings was they were cheap, but they were longer than every other cigarette. How are you feeling about Thursday, says Irrelevant. I think it's going to be a shame to watch a game behind closed doors, isn't it? But there you go. Mark, as you're from Nottingham, are you related to Robin Hood or his Merry Men? What's your favourite Robin Hood film, says Zayn Miassi. Prince of Thieves. Everything I do it for you. That's my favourite Robin Hood film. I thought the Russell Crowe one, and I do like Russell Crowe, I thought the Russell Crowe one was absolutely shite. So, yeah, that's what I thought about that. Do you think Man City will win your Champions League? And if not, who will? It's funny because United have just beaten City, and United are not one of the best teams in Europe, but they convincingly beat City and they schooled City. So I really should be saying City won't win the league, but City won't win the Champions League. But I do think that City and Liverpool are the two favourites for the Champions League, and I think Liverpool will win tomorrow. But if they got knocked out, I'd then be saying City are going to win it. So. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I still rank the Premier League higher than it is, but I think this is one of the worst Premier League seasons we've ever had, by the way, and I can back that up with a fact if you want it. I do think it's a terrible Premier League, but I still think that Liverpool and Man City might be the two best teams in Europe, so we'll see. Saul Neves Sabitzer, what CM would you bring to United? Saul Neves Sabitzer. If I had to pick out of those three, I do like Saul Niguez a lot, but I wouldn't go for any of those three, to be honest with you, this summer. I'd be looking elsewhere. But if I had to pick between those three, I would go with Saul. Thank you very much, Ashley Milton, for your super chat. And Zane's back. Mark, try cigars. Romeo and Juliet Churchill are the best brand. There you go. I bet they're about £50, aren't they, for one, knowing your lifestyle. Zane. Kickoff has... Sorry. The second half has kicked off, by the way. And we have got Spurs on the attack. Can they get back into it? I hear people ask. I don't know, I reply. I don't know. But I don't actually massively care either if Spurs get back into it. I'm not even bothered. I think from Chelsea's point of view, I was almost wanting Chelsea to get back into it against the against Bayern Munich, because I think if Chelsea stayed in the Champions League a little bit longer, it would make it harder for them to get top four, and now they'll be able to focus on top four. But from Spurs' point of view, I just don't think Spurs are good enough, regardless of whether they've got to play loads of games or not. So a little bit of summary of the first half. Leipzig 2-0 up inside 20 minutes. Very easy for them so far. Spurs have struggled. Obviously, they don't have the attackers that they'd like to have. PMV Patrick, thank you for the contribution. And Mark, have you seen the guy on Twitter who got a picture taken with the Notts Forest owner who has coronavirus? Says Luca Cantarelli. He may well have coronavirus himself now then. Henrik Hawkrud says, what position do you think Leicester and Chelsea are going to finish? I do think Leicester could drop out the top four. Even though they've got to do that, they'd have to drop 8 points to drop out the top four, because they're 8 points behind ahead of United. 5 points ahead of Chelsea, but Chelsea are already in the top four. Leicester will take fourth over third or fourth anyway. So Leicester have got to lose 8 points on United, but I do think that United are going to find some form. So I do think as well that Chelsea, the Leicester United game on the last game of the season will be pivotal, because it could be that Leicester need to beat us or we need to beat them. Stephen Diak says, you can say Spurs aren't that good, but the tactics are terrible as well. Good play by Lamela there. That's going to be a foul. Can Arsenal get a result against City, says Louis69. I just don't think so, mate. I really don't. I don't think they can. Thanks to Sally, Devil Red 7. I didn't know what mods we had tonight, but so thank you, Sally. Top 5 Dublin pubs, Mark, says David Salter. I've not been in Dublin for a few years, so my favourite place, Sinnott's. I love Sinnott's, under St Stephen's Green. Lovely pub, I love that. O'Donoghue's, because I used to go and eat my lunch there. I didn't take sandwiches in, I used to buy from them. That would be very unfair. They've got a business to run. What else? What other pubs did I like? Meza Maguire's, which I think is called something else now. It's like a 3-story pub on the Liffey, so that's 3. I need 2 more. I know what my favourite one is. Probably Break for the Border, which was a bit of a pub club, and then across from Break for the Border, definitely still there, Hairy Lemon. That was my pub. You go in there and you go, if you went in the Hairy Lemon pub in Dublin, you'd go, why did Mark mention this as the best pub? But that was my sort of local. It wasn't my local because I lived miles away, but when we went for a drink, that's where we go for a drink. And the jukebox, I remember being in the Hairy Lemon pub, it was quite busy, and I put a song on, Richard Marx, Hazard, and people left the pub. I was very proud, because I've always liked, there's always a shit song that you like that nobody else likes. I wouldn't say I emptied the pub, but people walked out. And this pub was great because the jukebox was upstairs, and then there was a bit of a balcony where you could look down to the main door, and I could see people walking out going like that. I was like, yes. And I'm English, that makes it even worse. But yes, I did like that place. I did. Really, very, very good. Oh, there's another pub as well. There's the Tara Street pub underneath Tara Street Station. To be honest, I could do top 10. Alex K, Mane or Firmino, and keep up the good work up the Reds, says Alex K. Mane or Firmino? Mane. I do like Mane. Killian Walsh is still the same now. Mark been there for the same for 20 years. We have got a Dublin meetup next month on April the 2nd, but I think we're going to have to. I'm going to speak to the pub about that. I think we're going to have to put it back because it is a mass gathering of over 500 people. So I think it's going to fall into problems, isn't it? But we'll have to see. I tell you what, you'll all be on your phones in a minute. You know what my secrets? It's not even a secret. I'm proud of my taste. What's your favourite shit song? My favourite shit song is Diamond Lights, Hoddle and Waddle. Now some of you will be like, what? Yes, 1987. Chris Waddle and Glenn Hoddle both played for Spurs, and they released the song in the charts, and they stood there on the charts and sung it. And the best thing is, if you search Hoddle and Waddle on YouTube, Diamond Lights, I don't think there was an official video for it. So you actually see them on Top of the Pops singing it. I loved it. I listened to it the other day. It's shit, but I still like it. It's a shit song. Do you think all negativity around Pogba with fans will make him leave cheap? We should stop it. There's a player down injured here, and they're calling for the stretcher. It's a Leipzig player. We're talking about shit songs, but it's just a ball in the face. I think he might have been knocked out a bit, smack in the face. It wasn't even, the ball didn't travel that far either. I think he's just sort of knocked himself out a little bit here. Craig Mitchum says, Mark, I've just seen the Joe Rogan's podcast. Wow, this virus is worse than you think. Well, you've got to give us more than that, Craig, because all I'm going to say is, look, I know Joe Rogan does a very big podcast, but he's a podcaster. Why does he know more than the medical experts that we're all listening to? I follow a guy on YouTube who's very good. If I had his details, you should watch him. He's a retired doctor, and he goes through it every day. He does a live stream every day about all the stats. Very, very good. Peak Van Nistelrooy or Peak Henry, which one better? Says Roger Lal. I've said it before. It's Henry, I'm afraid. Bon Jovi, Bad Medicine, says Mo M6. Yes, tell us your favourite shit songs, because I know that song. Your love is like bad medicine. Bad medicine is what I need. Whoa, it's like a bad medicine. See, I like that, and it's a shit song. There you go. I like it. Are You Shah says, what's the doctor's channel? I'll see if I can find it for you, mate, because it might come up on the phone as very good, and he's got loads of subscribers and he gets loads of views, but I think it's all because of coronavirus. I wonder if it will come up in my recommendations. That's bloody typical, that is. I think that's because it's my phone. I'll find it for you. Anyway, there's a player down injured at the moment. I'll find it for you now. He has... Ooh. That player's gone off and it looks quite nasty. I know how to find it. The ball didn't travel that far. It only travelled about that far, but it smacked him straight in the face. And I think it's one of those where it's probably concussed him, and it certainly left him with a bloody nose. So, still 2-0 in this game. Oh, here he is. Here he is. I found him. Dr. John Campbell. Dr. John Campbell. He's had 220k views on his video 10 hours ago. And basically what he does is he does a video every day. His latest one's called Tuesday the 10th of March, Research and Update. He's got a very soothing voice, Dr. John Campbell on Twitter, on YouTube. And I'm shouting him out. I'm probably going to get him 1,000 subscribers now. He'll never even know. Go in the comments and say I'm here because of That's Football Mark Goldbridge, because he should be shouting me out on his channel. Just give him a low. But then again, it's good content. I don't want anything back, John. Just send me a check. or a prescription. But no, seriously, I listened to that this morning, and I like the way he presents it, because he gets his news from different places and he just presents it in a very, very calm way. And I liked it. And basically what he was saying is that the one to keep the eye on is South Korea. Because South Korea are doing the most... They're testing the most people in South Korea for coronavirus, and their death rate is below 1%. And yet in Italy, their death rate is 6%. And what he's saying is that he doesn't definitely know why, but he suspects in Italy they're not testing enough people. So they're not testing the people who've got mild cases. So they're basically testing people who are presenting severe illness, and that's why their death rate is higher. Whereas in South Korea, they're testing a lot more people, so they're picking up the people who have, is it asymmetric? So they've got the virus but they show no symptoms, or people with mild cases. So that's why in South Korea their death rate is very low, because they're picking up more cases. Ever been to Crewe, Mark? Says Blossy1790. I've slept in Crewe. I've slept in Crewe on a bench at Crewe train station. I've never been walking around Crewe, but I've been to Crewe train station loads, because when I used to go to Ireland on a Thursday night to see the ex-missus, didn't have loads of money, so I didn't used to fly. It was a lot cheaper to get the train overnight from Nottingham to Dublin. Now people are saying you can't get a train from Nottingham to Dublin. You'd be absolutely right. The sea would drown it. But you get the train from Nottingham to Crewe, then you wait, you get the train from Crewe to Holyhead in Wales, then you get the ferry from Holyhead to Dunleary. You're in Ireland. So yeah, I did used to go to Crewe, but only for a changeover. Sometimes it'd be half an hour. I'd have a cigarette. I'll tell you what, I look back on these days and I think, oh, where did all the years go? It was a nice time. You can't test people that you don't know exist in your country, says Jimmy McTavish. I don't know what you're on about. I don't know what you're on about, Jimmy. What I'm saying is, in South Korea, they're testing a lot of people. A lot more people. Metal Mickey Suede, don't know that song. Keep putting in your shit songs that you don't like, and I'll try and sing them if I can. Your favourite shit song. Mine's Diamond Lights, Hoddle and Waddle. That's going to get a few views tonight as well. Spurs on the attack here. Vinks. I don't know why I call him Vinks. He's not German. It's Winks. Lovely little bit of play. See, Lo Celso's a very good player. I think he's just playing in a shit team. He's got real tackers, Lo Celso. I do like him, but he's playing in a crap team. Have you considered doing your coaching badges? Says Anamash Ranjan. Yeah, I've done a lot of coaching in my life. I should do my badges, but the trouble is they take so bloody long to do it. You have to do them on like consecutive Saturdays, and I'm always busy doing stuff. CAFC, the Red Army, says Jodem111. I'd say Charlton Athletic FC. Oh, I've got a right pain in my shoulder. Is that a symptom of coronavirus? I've also got a pain in my arse. That's normally DT. Mark, who do you think can dribble past Aaron Wan-Bissaka? Neymar, Mane or Messi? I don't know. I don't know. I think he's very, very good. Diggsy's Dinner, Oasis, says Matthew Thomas. I don't know whether that's a shit song. What a life it would be if you could come to mind for tea. I'll pick you up at 3:30. We'll have lasagna. These could be the best days of our lives, but I don't think we'll be living. That's enough. I quite like that song. I don't think it's a shit song. Best crap song, Box Dry by the Digital Dolphin, says the Digital Dolphin. I've never heard of it, and I suspect it might be yours. The Killer Humans, says Harry Crooks. Is that Are we dancing or are we humans? Are we dancers or are we humans? Man, I'm disciple, my love's a cold, But he's looking for the answer. It's alright. I'll tell you what, James Robert, I don't think this is a shit song either. He says Teenage Dirtbag. I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby. Got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Come with me Friday, don't say maybe. 'Cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby, with you. Ooh. I liked that song. It's got that bird in it, hasn't it? What's her name? Mina Severa. She does that bit. I don't know whether she actually sang it, but she does it in the video. The video to that's quite good. It tells a good story. It's a good music video. Spurs are clearly not getting back into this, because that's why we're doing favourite shit song. Mark, how confident are you of Sancho signing? Says Shiv Bushan Pandi. I'd say 50%, which is quite high at the moment. Cool for Cats by Squeeze. I'm not singing that, Owen, for you, because it actually is a shit song. I hate it. I don't like that song. Spurs are in here. That was a terrible cross, but it's gone out for a corner. And Lamella's saying that's a crap cross. You've put way too much power on it. Pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Pump it up. Sing Travis Scott again. No, because that's not a shit song. It's a good song. We're not doing good songs. We're doing what's your favourite shit song. So you've got to like it, but everyone else probably thinks it's a shit song. Luke McKenzie's probably come up with a very good contender. He says Top Loader. We get it almost every night, you liar. We don't bark and we don't bite. It's a supernatural delight. Everybody's dancing in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight, everybody. It is a bit of a shit song, but I actually quite like it. So well done, Luke McKenzie. See how I know all these shit songs? And the worst thing is, I know a lot of the lyrics. I don't know lyrics to songs. I'm always crap at lyrics for songs. Like there's that song by R.E.M. that I really like. I think it was called The Great Beyond, which was a big giveaway. The song's called The Great Beyond, I think. And when he goes, I'm chasing brooms, I'm bending spoons, I'm keeping flowers in full bloom, I'm looking for answers from the great, answers from the great, answers. And I used to think he was saying, I'm looking for answers. When he sings, I'm looking for answers from the great beyond. I used to think, even though it was called The Great Beyond, the song was called The Great Beyond, and it has a chorus saying, I'm looking for answers from the great beyond. You know what I used to think it was? I'm looking for answers from the graveyard. I'm looking for answers from the graveyard. Even though the song is called The Great Beyond, I, in my mind, thought it was graveyard. Twat. Running up that hill, Kate Bush, Greenwood F54. Anything by Kate Bush is good. Babushka, 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 yeah. Wuthering Heights is a classic, absolute classic. I'll never sing You'll Never Walk Alone. You can dream on. There's no contribution Zayn Miassi can make to make me sing that. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. We've still got 25 minutes to go in this game, and Spurs need 3 goals. It's not going to happen. We will be live tomorrow night for Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid, of course. 1-0 from the first leg to Atletico Madrid. Can they pull it back, Liverpool? I think they can. Rhythm is a dancer. I didn't like that. Do I think United would ever return to United? Says I be flossing. Never say never, but I don't think so. When I go out and I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. Proclaimers. If I went on the X Factor, I would win, you're right, because you'd all vote for me, wouldn't you? I'd be absolutely shit, but you'd all vote for me. Private Dancer by Tina Turner, classic, says Zed Jamie. But again, it's not a shit song. It's not a shit song. You must understand, by the touch of my hand, makes my soul react. There's a name for this. Oh, a name that fits. I'll be a... No, Private... That's the wrong song. I'm thinking about something else. Private Dancer's brilliant. I love Private Dancer. I'll be a private dancer. Dancing for money. I'll do what you want me to do. I'll be a private dancer. I love that song. I love it. I love a bit of Tina Turner. Thunderdome. We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we wanted was the young, the Thunderdome. Brilliant bass riff. We're losing viewers, but I'm having a good time. It's not a problem. People are tuning in going, Tottenham, RB Leipzig, match chat, and he's singing Tina Turner. I don't want this. I want to watch Werner score against the shitty Tottenham Mourinho. I want to watch Werner. What is this shit, Tina Turner shit? We're having a good time. This is the thing. These watch-alongs are great because we can watch any game and make it fun. New centre-back or central midfielder in the summer, says Reece Kenny. For who? For Spurs, they need a bloody centre-back. For United, I don't want a centre-back. I want to see a central midfielder, yeah. Alfred says that Jose is done at the top level of football, and I agree with him. If we have a stadium ban in the Premier League, City will be the only team to not have any difference in atmosphere. Says keep metal alive, E100. They're used to it. I mean, I was talking to Flex about this today, and he was like, "Oh, at least we'll smash this Austrian team now. They haven't got home advantage." I don't know. Does it work like that? If you know, I don't know. What's it like for players playing in a ground that's got no fans in it? Is it easier? Is it harder? Or does it make them less motivated? I don't know. Boom shakalak. Marcus Wright, actually, the origins. You know when a goal went in that time and I went boom shakalak. You know where that comes from? Wind your body. Wiggle your belly, I do the boom shakalak. It's Shaggy, isn't it? I didn't even know where it came from myself, just to go boom shakalak. But then it does come from that Shaggy song. Oh Carolina, my love, bum bum gra. Oh Carolina, my love, bum my love. Carolina, come wind by me. Oh, watch how she grooves. I used to love that as a kid. I'd never watch it now. Rob Vandrino, this is a shit song, but I like it. Informer, daddy's all gonna be playing. I lick your boom boom down. Detective man, come along and say that I'm blame. I lick your boom boom down. I hate it, it's shit. Hey Mark, love the content and your singing is top notch. Thanks Dan. Thanks for the contribution, Dan. I appreciate that. Africa by Toto 6782 is a classic. It's not a shit song. My wife hates it. When it's on the radio, she goes to turn it off and I go, don't even think about it. Keep it on. I don't think I can sing Africa by Toto because it's very high pitched. But I can probably do the bass line. Do 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 do. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. Ain't nothing that another million boys will ever do. I pressed the plane. See, it's too high for me. Down in Africa. Henderson, Sheffield United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tarkowski, Burnley, Holgate, Everton, Chilwell, Leicester, Kante, Chelsea, Moutinho, Wolves, Fernandes, Man United, De Bruyne, Man City, Aubameyang, Arsenal, Kane, Tottenham. He's just picked an 11 where he can only pick one player from each team. I think John T. Clare deserves a clap because that, to me, is a really, really, really hard team to do. It's a really hard thing to do. You can only pick one player from each team and you've got to construct a good 11. So, very, very good. Very, very good. David Salter says it's the best watch-along ever. The views don't suggest that. We have lost 1,000 viewers in the last 10 minutes, so there's a lot of miserable shits out there. Maybe they've just gone to bed to watch porn or something, I don't know, because it's not like there's a better watch along for Spurs RB Leipzig because this is a shit game. Realistically, what top midfielders could we replace Pogba with? For me, I don't believe there's many top players now. We have Bruno, says Harry Crooks. No, I mean, look, Pogba was worth signing, and Pogba is a fantastic player, but I think the Pogba experiments probably is coming towards an end. I think Pogba is, on his day, is one of the most complete midfielders in the world, and I think you've got to go down a different path. I don't think you're not going to replace like for like with Pogba. You may get a better player than Pogba, but I think talent-wise, you're not going to replace like for like. So I think what you're looking to do is certainly bring a Grealish in, and I think a Grealish and a Bellingham you'd get for 70 million, and you've got two good Premier League prospects there, and I think that's what you're looking to do. I don't think you can actually replace them. Take me home, country road, to the place where I belong, West Virginia. That's from Dalabo. I mean, that song is just always on at the end of the night in a Dublin pub. And you just always sing it because you're pissed. You know what? I was quite embarrassed actually. I went out a couple of Fridays ago and I did an Instagram story on the way home. And when you genuinely think you're not drunk and then you watch the Instagram story back, oh my life, I was off my tits. I was pissed out my face. Goal! No! Save! Cut back by Mora into the path of Dele Alli, and I think that maybe that's a FIFA penalty. Every breath you take, the police love this. Aha, says Matt Menko. So Lucas Moura crosses it into the box. Dele Alli gets the shot off. I tell you what, that's a penalty on FIFA, because you know when you've had your shot and then you get fouled afterwards, that's what happens to Dele Alli. It's never a penalty in real life, but FIFA has scripted it for years that that's a penalty in FIFA. I'm the highest in the room. Hope I make it out of here. That's a good song, though. Would you take Kante or Kevin De Bruyne at United? Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't actually think Kante's done, by the way. Some people seem to think he is, but I don't. Message in a bottle. Simba 96. I know that one. Hey there, Delilah, won't you worry about the distance? I'll be still back there beside you, and you'll go in some distance, so you do. Na 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 na. I know the song, Riley B. I wouldn't say it was shit. It's all right. Still 15 minutes to go. Still no prospect of Spurs getting back into this, and I don't really think that Spurs will be able to cause Manchester United any problems in the next few games. In the next game. Mark, your stream's always brighten my day. Top work, says Jackson Vetton. Well, this is what we do on this. I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm not an RB Leipzig fan. Referee's losing his shit here. I don't know what about. But this is what this channel's about. Everybody's welcome on here. The banter's real. The fun is real. We do FIFA on here. We'll do some Football Manager on here. So subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. And we'll be live for Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool, which I think will be more focused on the football tomorrow. The game won't be over after 20 minutes, I don't think. And yeah, it should be a good game. I've just done it, Muppet. Gangnam Style. Oh my god. I remember that. How many years old is Gangnam Style? I remember my kids doing that. They used to be in the living room going, whoop, 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 eh. The things you do, it's a bit like the Birdie song when I was a kid. My favourite song as a kid, I used to love it. I used to get like as a kid, it's a bit like you sing it with your chest. You know when it used to come, it's hard to So I had to explain that feeling as a kid when you're bloody loving it and you think you're it. But it was that song. All right, now everybody ready? Clap your hands. I want to see you clap those hands. Paint the wall. Walk the dog. Spray. Go for a walk. Do something else. Okay. Superman. I used to love it. What's the shit? That's one of the shittest songs ever. Cotton Eye Joe, Aaron Barrett. The horrible thing about Cotton Eye Joe is, I've been married a long time ago. I hated it at the time. It went to number 1, and every disco they had down the local pub, it would come on, and everybody loved it. And they'd all be dancing around like this, going arm in arm. They'd all be going, come on, get involved. And I'd be there going, fuck off. Like, I hated it. I'll get involved in songs and I'll have a sing song, but I don't care how many pints I've had. I'm not dancing to that shit. I'm not linking arms doing some hoedown crap. My favourite song is Pineapple Apple Pen. It says Pumpkin Spice Latte. Never heard of that. And I hate Sean Kingston's Beautiful Girls, Greenwood 54. And Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship, Dylan Watt Bryan. That was on my favourite radio station tonight. I was going to pick the kids up and it was on. Nothing's gonna stop us now. But of course, it's not the best song by Starship. The best song by Starship was by Cody Played the Mamba. Listen to the radio, don't you remember? We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. We built this city. Best song. And the best radio station, without a shadow of a doubt, is Smooth FM. Sponsored by Mark Goldbridge. Favourite Beatles song? The long and winding road, boo boo, that leads to your door. I like that song. Live Forever Oasis is not a shit song. It's one of the best songs ever written. Stone Cold 31619. Bloody love Oasis. The only bad thing is they support City, but I can't help my youth. I can't help it. Cascada, Every Time We Touch, says Gustav. Every time we touch. I know which one you mean, yeah. Thoughts on Zaha. To keep it real. My thoughts on Zaha is that he's a good player and I think he wants to get away from Palace, but I just don't think he can get away. Strawberry fields forever. It's a bit acidy, isn't it? Welcome to Jive Josh Manchester, latest member of the That's Football Members Club. And Zane says, Mark, I think the Arsenal ladies could beat this Spurs team, and I thought we were bad. They're dreadful. I can't wait to play them on Sunday. It's another 3 points on our quest for top 4. I think Bournemouth will give us a harder game than this Spurs side. We will definitely get a clean sheet. There is no way we're not getting a clean sheet against Spurs. They're trash. They're trash. They're absolutely trash. Hi-ho-ho. Yeah, right, Raheel, I think Martial could get a hat-trick against Spurs and Bruno and Harry Maguire. And maybe even Wan-Bissaka as well. I think it could be 12-0. They're shit. More Than a Feeling by Boston, says Jason Brickle. I feel I should know that song, and I think if I heard it, I would know it. But 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes till Spurs are out the Champions League. 10 minutes to go. No more Champions League for Spurs. and you're not having any next year either. Enjoy your last 10 minutes of Champions League football with Eric the Shit Dyer at centre-back. What a stupid prat Mourinho is. Fancy putting Eric Dyer at centre-back. Crazy. Mark, we're getting Zaha and Koulibaly in the summer, and John Stones, says Amy Massey. Well, you've ruined it there then, haven't you? The worst song ever is Mamba Number 5, says Joel Morris. Yeah, that is pretty bad. I think that other one as well, what was her name? Alicia Dixon. Does he scrub up? He never scrubs up. Does he clean up? It's one of those... It's just sexist. It's just a sexist song. You know, maybe he suffers from like a bad back, sciatica. Maybe he can't stand up and wash up and clean up. Maybe he's got an actual prescription from his doctor that says he's not meant to do any heavy lifting. And you're sat there singing at him like an arrogant person, telling him he can't wash up, he does nothing and he's lazy. Maybe he's got an overactive thyroid. Like, what are you picking on him for, you sexist? That reminds me of another sexist song as well. I used to see this in the clubs and that when I was younger. You'd be there, stood on the side, having a drink, eyeing up the talent, and this had come on. You're never going to dance to it as a bloke, even if you're with a woman, because it's just not a song to dance to for a bloke. It's that old classic from Shania Twain, not Looks Like We've Made It, which is a nice song. It's the bloody one that don't impress me much. She's not even using proper English. It's that doesn't impress me much, but it doesn't work with what you're trying to do. That don't impress me much. And they would come on in the club, right? All the women love it. They'd put their bloody Red Bull and Coke down, or whatever. Red Bull and Coke. Red Bull and vodka down, or their Bacardi Breezers. They'd put their pineapple Bacardi Breezers out. They'd be straight onto the dance floor. That don't impress me much. Or in their little group, sexists. And they'd be all there pointing at the boys. So you think you're Brad Pitt? That don't impress me much. Oh, you've got a car? That don't impress me much. All right, you don't want to lift home then? You can walk, you silly cow. I wouldn't do that. I'd always give him a lift. But yeah, sexist. It's just a sexist song. That don't impress him. Oh, you think you're Brad Pitt? That don't impress me much. I'll be there like this. Oh, shut up. Put some Oasis on. Get them off the dance floor. They've had enough. Don't serve them any more of that Bacardi Breezer. Give them a glass of water. 7 minutes to go. Hi from Erdington, says MOR. Would you want Nagelsmann at United if Solskjaer goes? If so, would you mind him using the 5 at the back like he does at Leipzig? I think he does it quite well, Alfred III. Yeah, I think he does. Losing My Religion by R.E.M. is a very good song, Farrell Gordon. I like a lot of R.E.M. songs, or REM, as I call them for short. Richie says 315. So you think you're Mark Goldbridge? That don't impress me much. Fuck off. We could play Phil Jones up front and still beat Spurs. I'm going to nick that on Twitter, and we can take it as a collective. You can see how many twits it gets, how many retweets it gets, but I'm not claiming it as mine. I'm going to try and see who said it. Where are you? You need the shout out for that. Where? It just whizzed by and I caught it. Who let the dogs out? Oh, where's it gone? I can't find you to shout you out, and now everyone's going to say it was me. Together Forever by Rick Astley is a classic. tell you what I like. Nothing. It's not going to be anything rude, don't worry. Bust the Nut, any update on Flex? His story says engine failure on his flight, he had to land. Also have any romantic stories? Maybe how did you meet your wife? Did what? Engine failure on your flight? Bloody hell. I hate flying as well. Oh, here we go. I've got a message. Plane emergency landed, fault with engine, scary mate, now stuck in Frankfurt till tomorrow. I think he's on the same flight as Simon Peach, the journalist. I've just sent him all our regards. Oh, I've got to be honest. I've never liked flying. I think it's the lack of control. 3-0 to Leipzig. Well, terrible defending by Spurs again. Absolutely terrible. People like Eric Dyer just sticking their foot out at a cross. Bloody hell. Simon Peach on his Twitter. Simon Peach on his Twitter says, from Frankfurt back to Frankfurt via an emergency landing. Not great to see an engine light up mid-air. An unplanned night in Germany awaits. I would absolutely throw up. I'd throw up. Yeah. If I was on a plane and I saw an engine light up, I'd throw up. I hate flying anyway. That would be it. I'd pass out. Zayn Miassi says, ha 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 for Spurs. It is 3-0. 88th minute, Forsberg with the goal. We were talking about some serious shit there, to be honest, and thank God Flex and Josh are all right. I'd go in the bar and have a drink. And Hasnan Raymond said the Phil Jones comment. Well done, pal. Oh, we're going to smash these up on Sunday. I can't wait. 3 points. Easy. Easy work. They're so bad. Couple of minutes to go of normal time. 4-0. It's not even like Spurs have put up a fight, is it? They've been absolutely hammered. In all intents and purpose, they've been hammered. They can have no complaints. Right. Simon Monaghan says, Mark, will there be any current or former Man United players at the Dublin event? Could you help me out with a ticket? They're all sold out and I would love to go. I wouldn't worry about it. I think it's going to get rearranged. Consider it's on April the 2nd, which is basically 3 weeks on Thursday. And I reckon we're going to be in lockdown within the next 2 weeks. I don't think we're going to be flying to Dublin anyway. Rank your favourite James Bond actors, says Sumip Bijal. Everyone says Connery. I always preferred more. Maybe it's because I was a kid and it was more slapstick. So for me, Lazenby in at number 5. At number 4, I would put Timothy Dalton. Although he was quite good, you're not better than 4. At number 3, it's Connery. It's Sean Connery. I'll have a lamb lunch and a bottle of scotch like Connery. At number 2, hello Alan, it's James Bond. I'm James Bond. And at number 1, Daniel Craig. Can't even do his voice, he's that good. I just like the Daniel Craig films. I don't know whether it's the production of it or not. I just like Daniel Craig as James Bond. Why bother with 6 minutes of added time, says Kyle. Oh, 6 minutes of added time. They're having a laugh. They're having a laugh. They're having a laugh. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow on this channel with Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, or Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, because that's the order it will go in. Because we've got a bit of time, I'm gonna do a few shout outs here. Please subscribe to this channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Don't leave without subscribing, bottom right hand corner. That would be appreciated. Lots of content to come up in here. That's the main thing. Flex is all good, which is the main thing as well. Also today, Going for Goldbridge went up. Now, if you're not aware of Going for Goldbridge, and you basically, I've done a bit of a promo for it inadvertently. We've got 4,400 people watching here, and I guarantee not even 10 of you, not even 1,000 of you are aware that there is a channel called the Mark Goldbridge channel. It's currently 70 subscribers away from 55,000, which is quite a big number. So if you could go onto the Mark Goldbridge channel and subscribe, that would be great, because we'd get to 55,000. But more importantly, every Tuesday there's a video called Going for Goldbridge that goes up. You could search that and find it. It went up today at lunchtime. It goes up every Tuesday. Going for Goldbridge went up today at lunchtime. And it was about virus lockdown incoming, and basically it's not football related, it's just normal chat and answering questions, so you might like that if you liked the music stuff. So Going for Goldbridge is up as well, and on top of that we did a United Stand channel video at 7 o'clock tonight about Werner, but I'd rather you went and watched Going for Goldbridge, because I think That's Football combines Going for Goldbridge and football stuff. United Stand is United Stand United, and Going for Goldbridge isn't football stuff. So, yeah, I'd rather Going for Goldbridge grew than the United Stand, really, because I probably quite enjoy the non-football stuff every now and again. You should do Going for Goldbridge live, says Harry Silvers. I've done it live once before, and it sort of loses its charm. It's not the brilliant thing people think it is. FIFA will be back on this channel. We just need to sort of think about how we're going to do it. So, give us a shout out, says Stephen Downey. You know what am I going to do now? I'm going to jump in the bath for a quick 5 minutes, and then I'm going to watch This Country, which I absolutely love. I love comedy, and I like it. I'm almost certain that Serie A won't conclude, and forget about the Euros. I don't see how they can conclude the Champions League, says Yazza said. As I said, Yazza said, I think that what needs to happen is close football down for a month, see if Europe can get hold of this virus a little bit, slow it down, reopen everything, and just say, look, we can't stop this virus. We've stunted it a little bit. We're going to go back to normal now. That's what I think they need to do. You can't quarantine the world for 6 months. You just can't. It's going to be, society will be a mess. You can't do it. People are not used to staying in their house and not seeing people watching Netflix for 6 months. You just can't do it. You can't do it. Thanks to that. What a lovely comment from Ferdine Tony Mohammed. He says, really appreciate you, Mark. Really appreciate you, Mark. You're the best. Keep it up, mate. Well, I couldn't do it without any of you lot. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. All the comedy, all the singing. I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't given me the material to do it. I haven't updated the score, mate, says Dylan Woodley. I'm doing it out of respect for Spurs. Rest in peace. They're finished. Their Champions League is over. Ludwig says Liverpool will beat Atletico Madrid 2-1. Mbappe coronavirus test negative, says Brooks Hale. But realistically, that's great news. But Mbappe having the coronavirus, why would it even be big news? Like, lots of people have got it. He'd be absolutely fine. He'd just have a little bit of a sore throat because he's not in the risk category, is he? Good shot by Werner there. That should be it. That should be it, everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. Really enjoyed the stream tonight. We'll be back at 8 o'clock tomorrow night for Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool. Spurs go out with a whimper. Mbappe was tested for coronavirus and found negative, says Yazid. Thank you very much for that. Leader of football Twitter, says Dan11. I don't know whether everyone would agree with that, but I do like football Twitter. It's a good laugh. And thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak tomorrow. Please subscribe and please go and check out Going for Goldbridge. That would be appreciated on the Goldbridge channel. See you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock or on the United Stand tomorrow morning. See you in a bit.